retire to colors. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce the President and CEO of the Marine Corps Association, Lieutenant General Charles Cerrone.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get my 25 font speech out here. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to be here tonight. I want to thank all of you for coming here. I don't want to apologize for the separation that we have amongst us. I just want to be grateful that we're able to gather because that's the most important thing here. COVID obviously has impacted our ability to fully express through the gatherings our gratitude for all of our recipients, awardees tonight. But let me tell you that it's a heartfelt gratitude that we feel tonight. So let me get started. Sergeant Major Bennett, thank you as always for getting us going tonight. I want to thank the Marine Corps Base Band Quintet and the Wounded Warrior Regiment Color Guard. As always, and it just goes. They just add a little extra touch to this. Chaplain, thank you. We need all the blessings we can these days. So your presence here and the words that you spoke obviously resonate for all of us. Thank you. We are gathered tonight to recognize excellence, and not just any excellence. This is, if you read the citations and you understand what it is that the Wounded Warrior provides to our Marines that have been impacted by life, combat, or other, you will realize that the individuals that we recognize tonight really are truly significant individuals. And it is only proper and fitting that we take time to recognize their excellence and achievements in service to others. I can think of no higher calling personally than to provide oneself to the cause of others. And so I want to thank all of you awardees here tonight and the Wounded Warrior Regiment for all you do to ensure that our Marines and our families are taken care of in a manner that's expected of the United States Marine Corps. So thank you very much for that. As I said, the pandemic is no less impactful today than it was, 18, 19 months ago. And so we've provided for you, the gratuitous face guards and hand sanitizers and all of that. I asked you to keep that in mind as you socialize today. We'll try to keep as much social distance amongst everybody else. 700,000 dead in our country is no small number, and so we want to be as safe as possible. So thank you for keeping that in first and foremost. Our Marine Corps Association continues to be universally recognized as the professional association of the Marine Corps. Through awards such as this that you're going to see tonight, the ones that we're hosting, through program awards, battlefield studies, military educational support for our Marines and the commanders in the field, and redefining our future modern-day Marine Corps exposition up in D.C. this next year. we are charged with advancing the values and building adaptive and engaged and informed communities that are focused on the development and furthering education of our Marines and ultimately the betterment of our Marine Corps. This evening I have the pleasure in this award ceremony of really introducing the keynote speaker. Colonel Brett Heil, the commanding officer and Sergeant Major, I'd like to welcome you as well too. But Colonel Brett Heil is the commanding officer, enlisted in 1989, came in as a, computer geek in the aviation community, and because he was recognized in his excellence, the Marine Corps saw fit to advance him into the Marine Enlisted commissioning program. And in 1994, he was commissioned a second lieutenant of Marines. Unfortunately, he attended a very easy school to get into, Texas A&M. He's an Aggie. I'm not sure where that's at, but I'm told somewhere in the South, deep South. He's commanded at multiple levels, obviously commanding the regiment. He's commanded Marine Wing Communication Squadron 28. Most impressively, he deployed forward with the 26th MU in support of operations in Kosovo. He supported 2MEF forward in Operation Iraqi Freedom. He is a combat-proven veteran, and I can think of no other that would be the right fit to be a regimental commander than Colonel Brett Heil. So thank you for being here. Thank you for stepping in and really filling the gap that we needed to fill. So thank you for that. We're also joined tonight by Major General Jason Boehm, good friend, Commanding General of Marine Corps Recruiting Command, a very challenging and demanding job. Sir, thank you for being here. I know you've got a full schedule as you look across the United States to try to do that. And I'd also like to welcome Brigadier General Mark Klingen and his wife for being here and supporting us, the Assistant Commandant for Combat Development and Integration. So thank you, both of you, for being here and welcome. I'd also like to recognize a really good friend of mine and a mentor. I personally think, he may not believe this, but mentor of mine, Lieutenant General Dave Beidler, retired, good friend of mine, and I think Lieutenant General Keith Staldler, I think he's here as well too. So, okay, maybe not. And again, thank you for being here. Your continued support to this association and to the awards really means a lot. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, quite frankly, this award would not be this evening would not be possible without the support of our sponsors. And I say this every time. You know, why do the sponsors give themselves, and why do they forward their companies? If we look at it and you try to understand and you try to peel back, I truly believe there is a genuine appreciation and in some cases a deep love for the United States Marine Corps, for what we represent. They want to be part of that continued commitment and the betterment of the Marine Corps. In this case, though, I would tell you that it goes a little beyond that. This becomes more of the humanity aspect of it, because we're giving recognition to special individuals that really have to go through some really challenging and hard emotional times. And so the draw here may be a little bit different than just trying to continue to support the Marine Corps. I believe, and I want to believe, that it's more about the human aspect of giving and supporting and volunteering of themselves. So I want to thank all of our sponsors who have taken their time. I know we met some folks earlier tonight that have come all the way from North Carolina to be here. Folks from all over DC have come here, but continually support this association so that we can in turn host evenings like this. And so I want to thank all of you for that. There's a couple of companies that I'd like to just single out. Mantech, I believe you're here. Mantech? Okay, yep, there you are. Thank you for your continued support, new sponsor for this award this year. KSA Integration, thank you, sir, for being here. Your generosity is always much appreciated, so thank you so much. The Independent Fund, sir, I met you just a little while ago. There you go. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here and continue to support us, sir. And I'd like to thank all the rest of our corporate sponsors here as well, too. Every little bit helps in moments like this. Sergeant Major Mack, are you here? Sir, thank you. Sergeant Major Mack personally gave of his own personal bank account to this evening, so I want to thank you for your donation, sir. Thank you. And finally, I'd like to just recognize and thank the team, well, two more recognitions, quite frankly, the team of the Marine Corps Association that make this evening possible. They gather everybody here, they solicit the support, and then they put it together. They work a full day, and then they come here and they put this wonderful evening on. And so the team from the Marine Corps Association, you know who you are. Thank you so much for doing all that you do. Truly appreciate it. If I could please have the awardees this evening stand. Thank you, Marines. And ma'am, thank you so much. And if you're accompanied by your spouse or significant other, if you could stand, please. Thank you. And please, a round of applause. This is about us recognizing them, but in this case tonight, right now, it's about us recognizing you, because the hours that they spend doing what they are going to be awarded for throughout the year could not be possible without the support that you provide your spouse, significant other. So thank you so much for all that you do. Please. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I believe we're going to transition over to Colonel Brett Heil. Sir, the floor is all yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the Wounded Warrior Regiment here this evening. General officers, retired general officers, sponsors, it's truly humbling, and we're profoundly grateful that you are here with us this evening to share in this. I have to start with Lieutenant General Ottignon, Deputy Commandant for Manpower Reserve Affairs, sends his sincere regrets for not attending the event. He sends his appreciation and congratulations to our awardees for your dedication and outstanding leadership. Here at the regiment, we stay engaged at the Department of Defense and Department of Navy level to advocate on behalf of our wounded, ill, and injured. And before we focus the rest of this evening on the meat and potatoes of what the regiment does and who our awardees are, I want to take a few minutes and then highlight some of the additional ways that the regiment works on behalf of the Marine Corps and supporting our veterans and keeping the faith. I want to start with our call center that currently the contract's run by KSA, and we have folks out there called field service representatives. We have 5 contractors across the country, and one of them, Sean Smith, he's just stepped up in the last few weeks. When Marines are separated from the Marine Corps, they either are permanently disabled or they're temporarily disabled. And in this case, we discovered that some folks that were temporarily disabled, if they don't receive services and be seen and have their case finalized at the end of either 3 years or 5 years, they lose all their support. What's that mean for them? They lose their DoD disability pay, and their family loses their TRICARE support. So Sean Smith has worked countless hours over the last few weeks to reach out to over 150 Marine veterans whose time was running out. And he's got them and contacted them and made sure that their packages were complete and ensured that they could get their hearing done before their end of support. So just, that's just one example of some of the things that we do to help Marine veterans well after they leave active duty. In addition to the call center, we have district injured support representatives. And what they do is, as Marines transition from active duty, they transition into the VA support system. And sometimes that is not always a smooth process. They're not becoming a Marine anymore. There's some heartburn with many of them still that they have to retire well before they wanted to. And so the district injured support coordinators help them transition primarily over the first 90 days of their time, but sometimes we have to reach out to them well after that. And I have 17 of them spread across the United States. And the goal is, if there's a Marine in crisis, that we can be on their doorstep if need be in 8 to 10 hours. And one of those recently, Gunny Whalen received 2 very similar phone calls of Marine veterans threatening suicide. They explained that their life was terrible and they felt they didn't have the resources to help them in their depression. Gunny Whalen's conversations with these recovering service member veterans, he was able to discern what support services they were missing in their life, and that was leading to financial issues or vehicle problems. They didn't have a sense of direction or intermediate or long-term goals. And they didn't have a desire to push through their depression and pain that they were in. So he identified for them what right looked like. And he helped build those short-term goals. Hey, you're going to make a phone call to the VA counselor tomorrow. You know, not trying to eat the mountain, just take a spoonful of it right there and achieve those short wins to help them get on the path to right and encourage them to seek out that mental health support that they needed. And today, both of those RSMs are progressing because of the work that Gunny Whalen does, and he continues to follow up on them. And his outreach proves that that support system that we do for those Marine veterans is critical to keeping the faith even after their active duty service is done. So I mentioned our call center, the Sergeant Merlin German call center down at the Quantico Business Center off of exit 148. One of the things that we do is make phone calls to our veteran population. We have approximately 24,000 veterans across the United States that have been part of the Wounded Warrior family since going back as far as 2001. And we talk to them at least once a year, unless they tell us not to. Or if they're not in the greatest of shape, we talk to them potentially monthly. Or, you know, if they call us, we'll talk to them for hours on end if that's what they need. But really, we ask them to do other things. And one of those was during the California, Oregon, Washington wildfires, we had them reach out to the veterans in that area and contact them to make sure that were they okay and did they have the resources that they needed. So we'd connect them to local veteran service organizations or other charitable organizations to ensure that they were okay and they had what they and their family needed. We've done this for the flooding in central Tennessee and the hurricanes that rip up the eastern Carolina and Florida coast, or into, in this case, New Orleans and Texas as needed. And so recent feedback from a Marine who's receiving that phone call said, quote, his life has been transformed by the support from the call center, and he felt he was invigorated to help and refer other Marines to the call center that may be struggling. And I'm in a unique position to see all the ways that the unit, the regiment, helps those Marines above and beyond those trench-level kneecap to kneecap conversations that we're going to highlight here this evening. And I'd like to highlight a few of the other programs that we do on support of the rest of the actual Marine Corps that I wasn't aware of before I took command 4 months ago. And how, so one of those things is traumatic SGLI. Every active duty Marine pays $1 a month, and you never really know what that dollar goes through. And what that is if they have a traumatic event, car accident, training accident, and they're in the hospital for over 15 days, they rate up to $25,000 just for being in the hospital for 15 straight days. And many of these Marines don't realize that. But we, as part of our outreach to the Marine Corps, help ensure that those commanders, and I'll talk to Cornerstone in a couple weeks here and explain to all those that those commanders and those sergeant majors are aware of the benefits that those Marines and their families rate. And during the recent wounded from the Kabul, Afghanistan attack, we've already paid out $125,000 in traumatic SGLI, and we have several other packages pending to support that. Beyond the active duty force, we also, in support of Reserve Affairs and MAR4 Res, handle Reserve Medical Entitlements Determination. We call it RMED, and what it is if a reservist on active duty or on their AT training cycle gets injured, we are the folks in the Marine Corps that help them get that medical services, those line of duty benefits, so that they can be healed up from the injuries that they received on active duty. Or if they're out on active duty on an IA or a longer term deployment supporting somebody and they get injured, they get to stay on medical hold until they are fully recovered. And so our awardee tonight is part of that fantastic group down there, and just can't say enough about them. It's a really small section of this regiment that supports all of MAR4 Res, and just fantastic work. Thank y'all. So an example of that is a reserve Marine who was on active duty who was diagnosed with terminal cancer. He requested to be transferred back to his home state in the Midwest to allow him to receive support from his family and continue to receive ongoing medical treatment. So the RMED worked with MAR4 Res, Henderson Hall, and MNRA to coordinate this effort and ensure the orders were written correctly. His household goods were moved back from Arlington to his home state and prevented disruption of pay and entitlements. Yep. And then the last thing on reserve medical is if you're injured and you can't go back to your full-time job, you get disability insurance, workman's comp, as it's known in the civilian side. But here in the Marine Corps, they get what's called in-cap pay. And so we had to go in and help a young service member who, through a clerical error, never got his in-cap pay started. And so working with RMED and our pay and entitlements branch, we contacted the Marine, figured it out, and got him over the $9,000 that was owed to him. I mean, a life-changing event for him, and he was extremely grateful to have this issue resolved that had been lingering for a couple years and had just given up hope that he was ever going to receive money for the time that he lost from his job. So I'm extremely proud of the Wounded Warrior Regiment and the great effort the Marine sailors, our civilian employees, and family members have given into making the Marine Corps Wounded Warrior Program the gold standard for the United States military. Thank you and congratulations to all the awardees we came here tonight to recognize and the team that works beside them every day. And now let's start the presentation of awards. Master Sergeant Williams. Thank you all. You got it.
Thank you, Colonel Heil. At this time, if I could ask Lieutenant General Cerrone and Sergeant Major Warren to join Colonel Heil at center stage, please. It's a sincere pleasure to recognize the achievements of the Corps' outstanding staff, recovering service member, and caregiver for exemplary performance during FY 2021. The 6 individuals we recognize today are representatives of the countless Marines, sailors, and civilians around the globe that significantly contribute to superior care for recovering wounded, ill, and/or injured service members. At this time, I will begin by recognizing the sponsor of our first award. The Recovering Service Member of the Year Award is sponsored by the Focus Marines Foundation. Focus Marines Foundation assists post-9/11 wounded Marines and Navy corpsmen who are having trouble transitioning from military to civilian life because of their injuries. Their life-changing 7-day workshop and ongoing mentorship provide these veterans with renewed hope, direction, and support so they can move forward and live productive and satisfying lives. I would like to invite Dennis Simpson, President of the Focus Marines Foundation, to the stage for the award presentation. The Recovering Service Member of the Year Award is presented to a recovering service member that actively participates in his or her specified recovery plan, proceeding through the Wounded Warrior Care Continuum. He or she must be an example for other recovery service members to emulate by demonstrating an exceptional level of leadership, teamwork, and professionalism as one goes through the recovery process. The Recovering Service Member of the Year Award is awarded to Sergeant Edward D. Yee, Wounded Warrior Battalion West, Camp Pendleton, California. Please join me in a round of applause. Thank you, Mr. Simpson. Next is the presentation of the Wounded Warrior Section Leader of the Year Award, sponsored by Mantech. Mantech International Corporation provides the innovation, adaptability, and critical thinking our government needs for success in defense, intelligence, law enforcement, science, administration, health, and other fields throughout the nation and in many countries throughout the world. Joining us at the stage is Lieutenant Colonel David Yost, United States Marine Corps retired, Vice President, Division Manager, Mantech International. The Wounded Warrior Section Leader of the Year Award is presented to the section leader that demonstrates an exceptional level of leadership, teamwork, and professionalism in the handling of all aspects of non-medical case management. He or she must have been in the section leader billet for 6 months and must be thoroughly knowledgeable in all aspects of the non-medical case management. The Wounded Warrior Section Leader of the Year Award is awarded to Staff Sergeant Eduardo Mendoza, Wounded Warrior Battalion West, Camp Pendleton, California. Thank you, Mr. Yost. The next presentation is the Civilian of the Year Award, sponsored by MSC Direct. MSC is a leading North American distributor of metalworking and maintenance, repair and operations, MRO products, and services. A representative from MSC could not be present today. The Civilian of the Year Award is presented to a government service or non-appropriated fund employee in the Wounded Warrior Regiment that demonstrates an exceptional level of leadership, teamwork, and professionalism in support of our wounded, ill, or injured Marines and sailors. He or she must have 6 months of experience and be thoroughly knowledgeable in all aspects of the billet. The Civilian of the Year Award is awarded to Mrs. LaShawn Carrasquillo, Wounded Warrior Regiment, Quantico, Virginia. Please join me in a round of applause. The next presentation is the Enlisted Leadership Award, sponsored by St. Wooten. I would like to invite Mr. Len Hunt to the stage to assist us with the presentation. Mr. Hunt is the St. Wooten Eastern Commercial Division Manager, which provides both construction materials and services from site work and utilities to paving roads and highways. The Enlisted Leadership Award is presented to a reserve, active or active duty Marine or sailor in the rank of Sergeant or Petty Officer Second Class through Gunnery Sergeant or Chief Petty Officer in the Wounded Warrior Regiment Headquarters Element, Wounded Warrior Battalion staff, or detachment staff who has demonstrated an exceptional level of leadership, teamwork, and professionalism in the support of our wounded, ill, or injured Marines and sailors. He or she must have been in the billet for at least 6 months and be thoroughly knowledgeable in all aspects of the billet. The Enlisted Leadership Award is awarded to Gunnery Sergeant Richard A. Galvin, Wounded Warrior Battalion East, San Antonio Military Medical Center. Thank you, Mr. Hunt. The next presentation is the Officer Leadership Award, sponsored by Raytheon Technologies. I would like to invite Mr. Jeff Spites, Director, United States Marine Corps Accounts and Defense Customer Accounts at Raytheon, to the stage to assist us with the presentation. Raytheon Technologies is honored to support the United States Marine Corps, wounded warriors, and disabled veterans that programs that help them flourish in their careers, their education, and their family lives. We remain an active supporter of the Marine Corps Wounded Warrior Regiment, the Quantico Injured Military Sportsmen Association, the and the Wounded Warrior Combat Cyber Academy. Raytheon Technologies is a leading provider of precision munitions, state-of-the-art electronics, mission control systems integration, and other capabilities in the areas of sensing and effects, such as command, control, communications and intelligence systems, as well as a broad range of mission support services. The Officer Leadership Award is presented to a reserve, active reserve, or active duty Marine officer in the rank of second lieutenant through captain in the Wounded Warrior Regiment Headquarters Element, Wounded Warrior Battalion staff, or detachment staff who has demonstrated an exceptional level of leadership, teamwork, and professionalism in the support of our wounded, ill, or injured Marines and sailors. He or she must be thoroughly knowledgeable in all aspects of the billet and must have held that billet for at least 6 months. The Officer Leadership Award is awarded to Captain Evan A. Amin, Wounded Warrior Battalion West, Camp Pendleton, California. Please join me in a round of applause. Thank you, Mr. Spites. The evening's last presentation is the Caregiver of the Year Award, sponsored by USAA. At this time, I would like to invite Sergeant Major Lynn Kimball, United States Marine Corps retired, to the stage to assist us with the presentation. Sergeant Major Kimball is the Military Affairs Representative at USAA. USAA is dedicated to serving military members and their families through insurance and by offering more benefits than any other major financial provider. The Caregiver of the Year Award is presented to a family member of a prior service or active duty Marine who demonstrates an exceptional level of support in the recovery of his or her prior service or active duty. The Caregiver of the Year Award is awarded to Mrs. Taria Williams of Wounded Warrior Battalion West, Camp Pendleton, California. Mrs. Williams could not join us this evening, but to receive her award on her behalf will be our company commander, Captain Amin. Thank you, Sergeant Major Kimball. Please join me in a round of applause for all of our awardees. And thank you to all of the award sponsors who allow Wounded Warrior Regiment to recognize excellence in the recovery of our wounded, ill, and injured Marines and sailors. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant General Charles G. Cerrone, President and CEO of the Marine Corps Association and Foundation.
Well done. The new and improved voice of the association, I think, right there. Fantastic job. Thank you so much for doing that. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the formal session of the evening, the recognition of the awardees. I'd like to invite you to the foyer outside and downstairs where we will continue socializing in a very safe and cautious manner, obviously. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to our awardees. One more round of applause to them and to their families. Thank you so much.